making headlines this hour. Maldives and Egypt reaffirm friendship, agree to deepen cooperation in trade, health, education and tourism. 255 apply to change voting locations ahead of Addo City Council restructuring referendum. The Maldives successfully sets a new Guinness World Record for the most people snorkeling simultaneously during the Bani event held on 18th October 2025 in Ba Atoll. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum and welcome to PSN News in English with me, Minha Maroof. Foreign Minister Dr. Abdullah Khalil and his Egyptian counterpart Dr. Badr Abdulati holds official talks in Cairo, reaffirming the close friendship between the two nations and agreeing to deepen collaboration in trade, health, education and tourism. During the meeting held at the Tahrir Palace, both ministers reaffirmed the long-standing bonds of friendship and cooperation between the Maldives and Egypt, rooted in shared values and strengthened by religious and cultural ties. Dr. Khalil conveyed appreciation for Egypt's continued assistance over the years in the fields of education and human resource development, particularly through the scholarships provided by Al-Azhar University, which have benefited generations of Maldivian students. Discussions also focused on opportunities to expand cooperation in the health sector and strengthen collaboration through the sharing of expertise. Dr. Khalil expressed the Maldives' commitment to advancing economic and trade ties with Egypt, highlighting potential areas for collaboration in agriculture, trade and food security. Both ministers also noted the scope to deepening cooperation in tourism, including increasing arrivals between the two countries and fostering people-to-people exchanges. The two ministers also exchanged views on pressing regional and global issues. Minister Dr. Khalil commended Egypt's steadfast leadership in supporting the Palestinian cause and reiterated the Maldives' firm solidarity with the people of Palestine in their legitimate struggle to establish an independent and sovereign state based on the pre-1967 borders with East Jerusalem as its capital. Foreign Minister Khalil also conveyed commendation to the leadership and government of Egypt for the successful hosting of the recent Gaza Peace Summit, which led to the signing of the ceasefire agreement, an important step toward elevating the suffering of innocent civilians and advancing prospects for lasting peace in the region. Both ministers reaffirmed their commitment to continued close cooperation at the multilateral level in pursuit of peace, stability and sustainable development. The meeting concluded with both ministers expressing confidence that relations between the Maldives and Egypt will continue to strengthen in the years ahead, bringing enduring benefits to the peoples of both countries. The talks also served as a reflection of more than 5 decades of close relations between the two nations and their shared determination to build on this strong foundation. Minister Khalil was accompanied to the meeting by Secretary Dr. Hala Hamid and Additional Secretary Khadija Najiha at the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. We will be back after Isha prayers.
الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله أشهد أن محمدًا رسول الله أشهد أن محمدًا رسول الله حي على الصلاة حي على الصلاة حي على الفلاح حي على الفلاح الله أكبر الله أكبر لا إله إلا الله اللهم رب هذه الدعوة التامة والصلاة القائمة آت محمدًا الوسيلة والفضيلة والدرجة الرفيعة وابعثه مقامًا محمودًا الذي وعدته وارزقنا شفاعته برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين وصلى الله على محمد وآله وصحبه وسلم والحمد لله رب العالمين.
PSM ಗೆ ಟಿವಿ ಚಾನೆಲ್ ತಕ ರೇಡಿಯೋ ಚಾನೆಲ್ ತ ಮಿಹಾರು PSM Air ಅಪ್ಲಿಕೇಶನ್ ತಿಯ ಬೇಫ್ರುನ್ನ ಹಿಲೆ ಬಲಾಲೆವೇಣ ಅದಿ ಅಡುವ ಹಾಲೆವೇಣ ದುನಿಯೆಗೆ ಕೊಮ್ಮೆ ತಾಗುಹುರೆಗೆ ಕೊಮ್ಮೆ ಗಡಿಯ PSM ಗೆ ಚಾನೆಲ್ ತ ಬಲಾಲುಮ ಅವಹ PSM Air app ಡೌನ್ಲೋಡ್ ಕುರವ್ವ ಮಿಹಾರು ಆಪ್ ಸ್ಟೋರ್ ಉನ್ನ ಗೂಗಲ್ ಪ್ಲೇ ಸ್ಟೋರ್ ಇನ್ವೆಸ್ ಮಿ ಆಪ್ ಡೌನ್ಲೋಡ್ ಕೊಲ್ಲವೇಣ
Welcome back to English News. The process for appointing public members to the newly formed Maldives Media and Broadcasting Commission (MMBC) sees a slight setback this week, as 2 of the 10 initial candidates withdrew their nominations just as parliamentary interviews were set to begin. The Parliamentary Independent Institutions Committee announced the withdrawals during its meeting held to interview the applicants for the influential regulatory body. The committee confirmed that Shafiqa Naeem and Faris Toha had formally withdrawn their nominations. The committee then proceeded with interviews for the remaining 8 candidates vying for the 3 public seats designated by the Parliament. The formation of this commission is a critical step, as it will be the first regulatory body established under the new Media and Broadcasting Regulation Act, officially replacing the previously existing Maldives Media Council (MMC) and the Maldives Broadcasting Commission (Broadcom). Parliament is responsible for appointing 3 members to the 7-member commission. The remaining 4 members, representing broadcasters and other media stakeholders, have already been appointed without the need for an election due to the limited candidates. The committee must now complete the evaluation of the remaining nominees. According to the regulations, candidates must receive a score exceeding 75% during the interview process before their names can be submitted to the Parliament floor for confirmation and final appointment. The 8 candidates interviewed by the committee are Fatimat Fahmi, Muhammad Farshat, Safa Shafiq, Aminat Sarhat Izzat, Ibrahim Muhammad, Musa Rilwan, Shahnaz Adnan, Muhammad Shamin. The Maldives successfully sets a new Guinness World Record for the most people snorkeling simultaneously during the Barney event held on 18th October 2025 in Ba Atoll. A total of 623 snorkelers took part in this landmark event, showcasing the nation's deep connection with the ocean and its dedication to sustainable marine tourism. Organized by the Ba Atoll Council in collaboration with Visit Maldives Corporation (VMC), the record-breaking event saw participation from 13 islands and 15 resorts, along with representatives from across the country. Resort staff, international tourists, and local communities united in this gathering, creating a powerful testament to collective environmental stewardship. Just 10 minutes from Edafushi, the capital of Ba Atoll, Vilingili Farufinolu provided a breathtaking backdrop for this milestone achievement. Its western lagoon and coral-filled outer reef, home to vibrant marine life, hundreds of black-naped terns, creating a stunning natural setting for the historic occasion. The record-breaking snorkeling attempt began at 16:30 hours and lasted an hour, as hundreds of participants simultaneously entered the crystal-clear waters at multiple designated points across the pristine sandbank. The plaque was awarded by a Guinness World Records official adjudicator to the Ba Atoll Council during the ceremony that followed, which included music, entertainment, and a spectacular fireworks display. The record was also inducted into the Visit Maldives Book of Records. A commemorative plaque and coin was presented by Ibrahim Shiri, Chief Executive Officer and Managing Director of VMC, to the Ba Atoll Council in recognition of this historic accomplishment. The Barney event stands as a powerful symbol of unity and purpose, perfectly aligning with Visit Maldives Corporation's mission to position the Maldives as a global leader in marine tourism and sustainability. It demonstrates how tourism and ocean conservation can thrive together, inspiring a model where community participation, environmental awareness, and visitor engagement combine to protect the Maldives' marine heritage while celebrating its role as the world's leading island destination. Elections Commission of Maldives states a total of 255 individuals have applied to re-register to vote at locations other than those in which they were originally registered, ahead of a public referendum on the restructuring of the Adu City Council. The Elections Commission described the figures as a clear indication of public engagement. The referendum, scheduled for Saturday, 25th October, will determine whether structural changes should be made to the Council's composition. Voting will take place across the islands of Hurudu, Midu, and Fedu in Adu Atoll. The ECM is nearing completion of its preparations for the vote. The Commission reported that of the 255 individuals who submitted applications to re-register, 248 re-registrations have already been processed. ECM President Mohammad Zahid described the figures as a clear indication of public engagement. Ballot box deployment has been confirmed with 18 boxes to be used across designated locations. Zahid noted that the number and placement of these boxes were determined based on logistical arrangements used during the most recent parliamentary elections. Voting arrangements in the Male region will differ from previous elections. This time, all voting in the capital will be centralized at Khalafan School, where 7 ballot boxes will be stationed. Across Addu city, the remaining boxes will be distributed as follows: 5 in Fedu, 3 in Hurudu, and 3 in Midu. Administrative preparations are entering their final phase. Zahid stated that the commission is currently focused on printing ballot papers and assembling the contents of the boxes designated for dispatch to the atoll. The referendum will follow the procedural framework of national elections. Polling is scheduled to begin at 8 a.m. and conclude at 4 p.m. Oversight measures have also been established. A total of 78 parties have registered to serve as monitors, while 57 parties will participate as observers. Once polling concludes, counting will begin after a 30-minute interval. Preliminary results will be announced immediately at the polling centers. The Elections Commission of the Maldives, ECM, formally announces the date and operational framework for the 2026 Local Council and Women's Development Committee WDC elections, unveiling a schedule that prioritizes early logistical coordination, administrative rigor, and a decisive shift toward digital candidate registration. Appearing on PSM News' Raja Miyadu program, ECM President Mohammad Zahid confirmed that both elections will be held on 28 March 2026. The candidacy application period is scheduled to open on 17 January 2026. Zahid described the local council and WDC elections as the most administratively intensive undertakings within the Commission's remit, necessitating extensive preparations. In response, the ECM has initiated early-stage planning to ensure procedural integrity and operational fluidity. A central reform in the upcoming electoral process is the digitization of candidate submissions. Prospective candidates will be required to submit their documentation via a dedicated ECM online portal, replacing the traditional paper-based method. To support the scale of the election, the Commission anticipates the deployment of approximately 270 temporary personnel. Of these, 110 individuals will serve as trainers and are required to undergo internal training. Recruitment is also underway for island-level focal points tasked with establishing administrative arrangements in each locality. The ECM estimates the total cost of conducting the council election to range between $4.54 million and $5.19 million. Public engagement forms another pillar of the Commission strategy. ECM teams are scheduled to conduct awareness sessions in 36 islands across 12 atolls during November and December, focusing on areas with large populations. These sessions will provide essential information about the electoral process and underscore the importance of voter participation. The campaign will be conducted in collaboration with independent institutions and civil society organizations. The Commission also plans to utilize various media platforms to broaden outreach and ensure citizens are well informed ahead of the polls. More than 9,500 residents of Addu city are eligible to cast their votes next Saturday in a landmark referendum determining the composition of the Addu City Council. The Election Commission of Maldives, ECM, has finalized and made public the official register of registered ballot boxes following a voter re-registration process, confirming a total of 9,576 eligible voters. Opportunities for submitting complaints regarding the registered ballot boxes are currently open. The upcoming poll, initiated by a presidential decree, will pose a separate question for 3 respective provincial wards of Addu, allowing residents to decide on the establishment of individual councils for their respective communities. Voter distribution across the 3 areas indicates 4,355 eligible voters in Fedu, 2,347 in Midu, and 2,874 in Hurudu. Ballot boxes for the poll will be placed in Fedu, Midu, Hurudu, and Male. The ECM noted that 255 individuals completed re-registration last week. Voters will generally be registered at the same location where they cast their ballots in last year's parliamentary elections. However, specific provisions apply for those who did not re-register, with individuals registered for Hulumale and Vilimale remaining at polling stations in Male, while those registered to vote in other islands will be automatically transferred to their permanent address unless they re-registered. The inaugural vote under the newly enacted General Referendum Act will seek the views of residents in Adu's Hurudu, Midu and Fedu wards regarding a proposed change in the composition of the Adu City Council. Wall Street ends higher as investors assessed U.S. President Donald Trump's latest remarks on China, while quarterly results from regional banks eased concerns about credit risks. Trump said his proposed 100% tariff on goods from China would not be sustainable, but blamed Beijing for the latest impasse in trade talks that began with Chinese authorities tightening control over rare earth exports. Trump unveiled the new tariffs a week ago, along with new export controls on any and all critical software to go into effect on November 1st.
The biggest news in the last couple of days have been, I think, kind of the cracks emerging in the credit spectrum. So, obviously, stocks have been bid, valuations are high. There's, generally been concerns over the last few months about, is there going to be a correction? How's the economy look, the jobs numbers?
Regional bank stocks rebounded following a sell-off on Thursday when Zions Bank Corporation disclosed losses tied to two commercial and industrial loans, and Western Alliance revealed it had initiated a lawsuit alleging fraud by Cantor Group. The S&P Composite 1,500 regional banks index climbed after tumbling almost 6% the day before. Residents in Pakistan welcomes the ceasefire agreement between Pakistan and Afghanistan following a week of fierce border clashes that marked the worst violence between the two neighbors since the Taliban took power in Kabul in 2021. Pakistan's Defense Minister Khawaja Mohammad Asif posted on X on Sunday after talks in Doha, saying that the ceasefire has been finalized, adding both sides would meet again on October 25th in Istanbul to discuss detailed matters. Taliban spokesperson Zabihullah Mujahid said in a statement that the parties agreed on a complete and meaningful ceasefire. Residents in Karachi see the agreement as a positive and hopeful development, saying that both nations, being neighboring Muslim countries, should live together in harmony. One Rawalpindi resident who was visiting Islamabad expressed concerns about tensions in the community between Afghans and Pakistani residents. Muhammad Ijaz Abbasi, who was looking at newspaper headlines at a newspaper stall, said, quote, "They have created many problems for us," unquote. Midfielder Kaik scores the go-ahead goal in the 47th minute, and goaltender Michael Collodi made 6 saves to make it stand up as visiting FC Dallas clinched a playoff berth with a 2-1 decision day victory over 10-man Vancouver Whitecap. And Yves Klein work titled California IKB 71, the biggest monochrome painting the artist created, is to be auctioned by Christie's in Paris. Klein, who was born in Nice, France, and died at 34, was a leading figure in the Nouveau Realism movement in France. He was a forerunner of pop art and became known for his blue paintings, which used a pigment that he developed from resin and linseed oil. The pigment, reminiscent of lapis lazuli, came to be known as International Chrome Blue IKB. Paul Nizam said measuring 1.96 meters wide, 6.4 feet, and 4.21 meters long, 13.8 feet, it dwarfs other Klein paintings in the market, the head post-war and contemporary art at Christie's Paris. Klein painted the work in Paris and brought it with him to the United States for an exhibition in the Leo Castelli Gallery in New York and then at the Dwan Gallery in Los Angeles. It was his only visit to the US, where he also took the opportunity to visit Disneyland and propose to his partner, Rotro. The sale is part of Christie's avant-garde, including Thinking Italian in Paris. And that's all we have for now. Thank you for watching. Wish you all a pleasant day ahead.